Hello everyone. This is an unscheduled presentation. Just had the urge to do it. So we have this great display at the museum on the Lionel Train. Got to move the horses out of the way, excuse me. All right. And this is a toy department. You can see some trains over in the background that we have up there, some track and some history of the trains. You can see that big poster in the middle that will tell an awful lot about the railroading in the area. So I don't really have a script on this. I'm going to shoot from the hip. This is an interactive display. It was built by Jim Radmore, one of our volunteers, whom we are very lucky to have. I worked on it with Alec DeChristopher, our young volunteer. I say young, he's 20, and when he's not the average age of the average volunteer. But I thought I'd give you a shot of like what we have. So what had happened is we had this table built. We had the track, and we had some trains, which are up on display in the back here. Pardon if it's too shaky, I'm holding this. But we have some trains up on the wall. That top locomotive we had repaired. And it worked okay, but it didn't work that well. So I put the word out, and last August my brother came to Littleton from North Carolina to visit. But before he came, he said, "Would you like to have my old trains?" Well, they were his trains. And let's see, my brother was born 7 years before and I used to use these when I was a kid. But they were given to him, I believe these trains here, that locomotive and the cars, go back to either 1948 or 1949. So I said, "Sure, Bob, I'll take your train." And here's the neat thing. It works. And we have a chair, and you're probably wondering, gosh, the guy's sitting really low down in the seat. Well, we have a child seat. And this child seat hopes the whole village here to nose high. So a little person can sit here, a child can sit here, they can play with it, they can watch the train go. We do require that, or do ask, that they don't push it too fast because it will tip over. Now, how many of you out there remember the full gauge Lionel Train? All right? So it is rather a cool thing to have. Now, if you take a look at this, and you can see the train going around in the background. You notice we have a few buildings. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, I'm going to bring the train around front. And but you notice we have a few buildings. Now, the big building in the back, as you know, that's the Opera House. It is made out of plastic canvas and yarn. And it is so detailed, it isn't funny. It is three-dimensional. And you can see, I'm going to try to hold up. There we go. There's the roof. And holding it over, I'm still sitting in a child's chair. So I'm down about 4 feet off the ground. So that was made by a lady who lived across the street from the Opera House around the 1980s. And it really is an incredible work. So I thought that would be really a cool place to put it in with the trains, because it does work out. It's proper height for the trains. Now, I'm going to bring this down here. Since I'm holding this, it's, like I said, it's a little bit difficult. If you notice, there are other little buildings up front here. And some of them actually do have businesses on the front. Well, we have a few of our members who enjoy going to yard sales and flea markets. Well, a couple of years ago, Gary Kazarian and Jan Maltais went to a flea market and found all these little buildings. And I think they picked up I don't know what they picked them up for, but it was fairly inexpensive. And so they brought them in, and I said, boy, that would be kind of cool. We get a little person who wants to come in and sit here, and they're more than welcome to play with the buildings and set up their main street whichever way they want. There we go. I just moved Eli E.B. Wallace and E.H. Gould. Well, by the way, if you notice in Gould's window, there were shoes painted there. Well, E.H. Gould did have a shoe store on Main Street a long time ago. And E.B. Wallace was Eli Wallace, married to Myra. And these folks are the ones responsible for the horse cemetery here in Littleton on Mount Eustis Road. So I said, well, Jan is pretty good with a paintbrush and doing some very careful work. I said, could you take and paint over the signs that are there? And I want Eli Wallace and I want E.H. Gould there. So I bet you that's Jan calling in on the phone right now. And so she did. She changed it. She changed the names. Now, if you look at this, I'll move this over here. The Beale House, she painted that one. Over here, beyond the horses, we have the Northern Hotel. Now, the Northern Hotel burnt to the ground in 1924, and it was on Main Street where the movie theater is, that whole block. We have Bailey's Music. Some of you might remember Magoon's store. Now, these don't look anything like the buildings that we had, except for the Methodist Church. All right? The Meeting House. But they do fill a purpose. So if you also take these and flip them around, we have the Beale House. We looked up the information, and I typed it all out. We stuck it on the back. And Joan, do you want to get the phone?
I am, but I don't know how to work it.
Just push okay, that's okay. We'll take care of it. All right. If you go to Wallace and Gould, you flip it over. And there's information about Eli B. Wallace and Gould. And I took these ads right out of the old business directories. We have a collection of the old business directories. So not only can children and adults make their own little Main Street, but they can pretend that they're rebuilding Main Street. Now, to give you an idea about the origins of these, here's a town hall, but if you take a look at the front, you see it says Wolfboro. Now, if we decide to do something with this, Wolfboro will disappear, okay? And on the back, this is what is originally on the back of that Wolfboro Town Hall. But what we would do is cover it, type something out, and then cover that with something that deals with straight with Littleton history. So this is an interactive spot. Jim likes trains. I like trains. And so he built this table. We measured it all out. And I remember him saying, what if I cut a hole in it and we can put a chair and kids can sit there? So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So if you go down below level, you're going to love this. There is the transformer to operate this. Jim built a box on the bottom. All right. So there we go. I'm trying to get a little bit further away. So the transformer hangs from the bottom of the table. Okay. Now, I remember my brother telling me that if you notice there's a chip, and when my brother was a little boy, he dropped the caboose and a chip came up, and this was decades before crazy glue. But just to give an idea, isn't that great? There are more buildings in back of us, and actually I should probably move this. And we do actually have the Littleton Town Building with the fire station underneath. And we have the railroad station. And we have, there we go, there's St. Rose Church. It's not really St. Rose Church, but know something? It fills in. So to give you an idea where this is located, this is what I'm looking at. A little cloudy out there. I have the windows open to air out the museum. This, and I noticed Barb Radmore is watching. This was Barb's dollhouse. And it is also interactive. Once again, we had Gary and Jen went yard sailing, and I said, pick up some doll furniture. We weren't going to spend a lot, and I don't know, probably about $2 or $3. And we have enough items there, and children come and they sit, and they play with the dollhouse. So I'm moving my way around, because we are in the toy department. So, that's it. This is just a, and oh, by the way, before I end, I do want to give credit, because we were looking up, and this wall used to be pegboard. And Alec DeChristopher was down here and said, too bad we can't make that brick. And I said, you know something, Alec? We can make that brick. So went down to Home Depot and picked up a couple sheets of brick, purchased a couple for racks, and we created this. And Jim took, and I'm going to get way down here, he took the leftover brick and he encased it, so this area under it is for storage. The front of it really is nice, but if I climb out of here, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to have the Beale house. Hold on a second. I've got to I must climb out of here for a sec to show you something. Okay. Give you an idea. This is where I was sitting. And there's the hole. All right. And Jim finished this off. He's an absolutely incredible carpenter. He finished it off, and this can be moved, and there is storage under this table. So what do you think? If you like it, give me some thumbs up stuff. Make comments. Don't forget that every Sunday at 9:30 we have music for a Sunday morning. That carries quite a few people from around the United States and actually from Brazil. So if you're interested, check it out. This is looking at the whole thing from up above. We have right here the history of the railroad in Littleton. And you probably didn't notice it. There is a water tower over there. And this is really kind of cool. That picture there, that is or was the first locomotive to come to Littleton, New Hampshire, the Reindeer. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to answer the phone. And stay safe. Tune in tomorrow for Sunday music.